Through the UN-supported hotspot mapping, violence and scenarios planning exercise, there was an indication of an increased risk of violence before, during, and after the 2022 electoral period. The multiple mediation initiatives across the country remained inactive and fragmented due to a lack of coordination, the absence of well-known mediators at the national level and in hotspot counties, lack of skills to mediate political conflicts, and a lack of financial resources to facilitate mediation activities.
This project recognized that it is not the first time mediation was being done in Kenya, and there were quite a number of initiatives already in place.
Since 2018, or rather after the general election of 2017, we came together after the elections and started the journey towards the elections 2022.
We began a series of consultations in 2021 to try to bring these initiatives together.
Therefore, in the run-up to the 2022 general election, through the support of UNDP, state and non-state actors, the Interreligious Council of Kenya established and launched the National Peace and Mediation Team. This team comprised 19 eminent Kenyans from the faith communities, academia, business, military elders, and the media.
From the very start, there was lots of research and analysis and hotspot mapping and risk mapping that was done by partners. And there were quite a number of platforms that were created to do early warning, early response, including work on social media analysis and online mediation.
The mediation program by the UN Resident Coordinator's Office was actually aimed at building the grassroots, the grassroots mediation. Okay, they have been in existence, they have been working, but actually now we are making it a structure that these people will have a way of solving their own problems even before the third party or other organization which are more or less viewed as outsiders. They are able to solve their own problems at the grassroots level. So the program envisioned to build the capacity, train the mediators, to give them the insight on the principles of mediation. How should you undertake a mediation process? How should you document that? Even before coming to the mediation process, how are you going to dissect the conflict to make sure that the root causes of these conflicts are taken care of?
The Interreligious Council of Kenya, in collaboration with key partners, strengthened the mediation capacity and coordination of existing efforts through the established National Peace and Mediation Team.
This is a project that supported mediation through 3 strands, through the establishment of the National Women Mediation Network in collaboration with UN Women. We also established a National Peace and Mediation Team in collaboration with a number of agencies and organizations that are working on mediation. And then we also worked with the Frontier Counties Development Council to establish a team of grassroots mediators in 3 counties, Lamu, Isiolo, and Wajir. And we also supported the establishment of young women mediators.
We used different platforms to call for peace messages as Interreligious Council of Kenya. We used congregational platforms. We also used digital platforms where we did social media campaigns, where we advocated for peace, we called for peace. We also used our interfaith youth to use these platforms to call for peace.
Mediation and peace coexist.
UNHCR 1325 came with a resolution, more women in peace building. The Kenya Women Mediation Team has proven that women can resolve conflict by dialogue only.
We had a situation room in which we're also responding to incidences, whether violence against women or any sorts of trouble anywhere, and linked up with the police, linked up with NCIC.
We did a lot actually on the situation room, whereby we were making calls and receiving calls across the country, whereby we involved both men, women, and the youth.
The youth are a very integral part in the mediation team because most of the time the fingers all lie on them. They are the ones who are being used to cause chaos. They are the ones being used by the politicians. By bringing them on board, it will be easier for them to talk to fellow youths and bring sanity in the electoral process, and that is what happened. Most of the youth downed their tools and voted peacefully and went home to sleep.
Before the elections, we came up with the National Peace and Mediation Team.
The idea of forming this national team originated from the Interfaith Council of Kenya. And Interfaith Council of Kenya, IRCK, is a national body with networks throughout the country.
The National Peace and Mediation Team played a very vital role in creating awareness, peace, and the importance of Kenyans being mature enough to take whatever results will be declared and follow the law.
The diversity of the people involved. The team in the National Peace and Mediation Team was made of people from different backgrounds, but involved in the peace missions.
During the very last phase of the elections, when we were at Bomas, the National Tallying Center, the situation was almost getting out of hand.
I tell you for free, it was not a walk in the park. It was not easy. There are moments when you feel like everybody wants to run away from you. You have to tell people, please hold, keep holding, especially when we went to Bomas. Probably, I think you saw what happened. People want to run away from you and you're telling them, no, let's hold on, let's stay on. This is our country. If it burns, let's burn with it now and let's hold. This is the moment we are called for. We have to hold, we have to keep on and on and on until the last minute. And I thank the religious leadership. Believe you me, if it was not for their standing strong, this country would have gone to the dung.
There are a number of interventions that we took to measure that, and the most significant, I could say, was the social media analysis. And this is the kind of predictive analysis that we did to check whether the levels of fear were increasing or decreasing, depending on what people were saying. That program also looked at the linkage between what was being said on social media and what was being said outside social media.
And one of the most important footprints of the National Peace and Mediation Team, religious leaders playing an important role in it, was to do shuttle diplomacy to the contestants and anybody who was key in the electoral process. For example, visiting the two contestants, the former Prime Minister, the Honorable Raila Odinga, in his home and having pastoral care and basically encouraging him to continue on the path of peace, to seek truth and justice. And also the current president, who was also a contestant, to also do pastoral care with him and urge him to be magnanimous and restrained in celebrating the win. And former president as well, Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, also urging him for the transition.
We've been able to reach those most left behind in Kenya and where the mediation needs were really necessary and needed. I mean, we've built the capacity of people from as far as Boni Forest, as far as Eldaz, Oldonyiro, Merti, that is in Isiolo and Wajir counties. And for me, that is really, real value because those who need the capacity have gotten it. And in this program, we've trained over 250 men, women, old and young from diverse backgrounds on how to do mediation, the process, the principles, and what actually is necessary for them to be able to resolve their local level conflict.
So the new emerging mediation priority areas that we are looking forward to is the resolving the conflict, the communal conflicts, whereby we have the pastoral conflict, especially around Wajir West and Isiolo North. That conflict has been recurring for so long, but currently there's a renewed energy whereby the peace building process is being fast-tracked, especially at the higher level, whereby the CS for Interior visited one of the hotspot areas, and he has tasked the county commissioners on both sides to come up with the 10 elders that are going to bring about the roadmap. So that one is a step in the right direction and shows that we are heading in the right direction. And we thank the mediators and the office of the UNRCO for the mediation efforts.
Another outstanding outcome from this process has been the power of partnerships. We've partnered with very many partners from the National Peace and Mediation Team, the Interreligious Council of Kenya, NCIC, the UN Resident Coordinator's Office, county governments, people from FCDC, and through this we've been able to build a lot of synergy, a lot of energy, and been able to achieve quite a lot. And we know that with these capacities that we've already established, I mean, these are capacities that were not there before, but now that they are there, we can keep on building on this as we move forward.
I'm a businessman. It gives me a lot of peace that I was able to participate and contributed my time and efforts in bringing peace to our fellow Kenyans. As if I did not make my effort to bring peace, I may not have a business to enjoy. Neither would I have the opportunity to enjoy the profits.
The thinking of the Kenyans this time, including these eminent people who formed the team, was that we may not need another Kofi Annan to come to this country when we can have our own sons and daughters who can do our mediation.
Politics is a game that ends, but we should preserve peace and life. No one should die because of a political seat.